It's a rainy Saturday in Lagos. Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Standpoint. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. It's 160 days to the 2019 general election, and political parties have put preparation in top gear with the commencement of sales of expression of interest and nomination forms. Some parties have released their dates for their primaries, whereby aspirants will slug it out to become the party's candidates for various elective positions. The All Progressive Congress have taken things a notch higher with its decision to adopt direct primary method in choosing its candidates. We'll be looking at the controversies surrounding APC direct primaries, as well as how Adams Oshiomhole has handled party matters since he became the national chairman of the All Progressive Congress. I have with me in the studio the national legal advisor of the APC, that's Barrister Babatunde Ogala. You're welcome, sir.
Good morning. Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to be here with you.
All right. Since the
I am Mr., not Barrister Babatunde Ogala.
Oh, really? I thought all lawyers come with that appellation.
Actually, it is even wrong for any lawyer to address himself or allow himself to be addressed as barrister.
Tell me
more.
It
is not a title.
Wow.
Yes, I am simply Mr. Babatunde Ogala.
Okay.
It is unprofessional to call yourself barrister. We are barristers and solicitors, not a title that prefaces your name.
Thank you for that correction.
Yes.
Mr. Babatunde Ogala is the National Legal
much.
Advisor of the All Progressive Congress. Now, since the national leadership of the All APC decided to adopt direct primaries for selection of candidates, tongues have been wagging. There were unconfirmed reports that APC state governors and some lawmakers were opposed to the move, and that even some threatened to even leave the party if the party did not overturn its decision. Can you confirm to us if these reports were true?
Let me quickly say it is absolutely untrue. It is absolutely false that any of our governors or indeed any party official threatened to leave the party if it does not have is way. That in itself sounds ridiculous.
How would the NWC make a decision?
Let me finish. Okay. That sounds ridiculous. In a democracy, that you say if I don't have my way, then I'm going to leave the party. None of our members, be it governor, be it the president, be it senators, or indeed anybody, make any such threats. The NWC, you say, how did NWC come up with such a position? I think we need to understand what the constitution of the party is and the powers vested in the various organs that it has created. The NWC, like the name says, is the National Working Committee saddled with day-to-day administration and set policy directions and guidelines for the party. And in carrying out these functions, these are powers that have been vested in it by the Constitution. Somebody has to come up with a proposal.
I wanted to ask you the question that NWC actually said direct primaries.
NWC recommended.
Direct primaries.
No, Ayo, it's either you are interviewing me or you are expressing your opinion.
No, I'm not expressing my opinion.
NWC did not say that. NWC brought our memo. We sat down at a meeting, had healthy discussions over a period of some number of days, and looked at the options that our Constitution gives. Our Constitution says you could have either direct or indirect. And the Electoral Act also says the same thing. We had a meeting with our National Caucus. We presented our positions. We had a National Executive Committee meeting, which is the body that is saddled with now arriving at a formal conclusion, where at the end of the next meeting, all state chairmen are members, all our governors are members, leadership of the National Assembly, of course NWC members, and various stakeholders, including some past office holders at certain levels. So it is a broad-based body. So we went into our NEC meeting, and after a healthy discussion, it was concluded that we could adopt either of the options. And looking at the peculiar circumstance of every state.
Yeah.
And what then did we do? And I think, if nothing else, for the first time, the national body of a political party is not imposing anything on the states. It's saying, go back home, look at what is best suited for your state, and advise us as NWC to look at what we now prepare for you. Then we now also collectively agreed that it shall be a decision of the State Executive Committee as provided for in the Constitution, along with critical stakeholders in the states.
At what point in time
Sorry, let me
did
finish.
the publicity secretary, the
Let
day after
me finish. Let me finish. So we took that decision and told the various state chapters to go back home and advise us after these meetings with the State Executive Committee and the critical stakeholders and tell us which option they prefer. So that is exactly what the states are now doing, and by next week, they advise us, and when we make preparations...
Did your publicity secretary address a press conference saying it is direct across the board?
Ayo, let me finish. Eh?
It's a simple question. Because
Governor
Lalong and everybody addressed the press conference a day before.
Let me finish my narrative.
Okay.
Then you let me answer your question.
All right.
I mean, this is like you are ambushing me.
No, we are time-bound.
That's why... you are time-bound.
I'm here to guide you.
I recognize that,
okay,
that you are time-bound, and I know it's a 1-hour program, and I'm not yet up to 3 minutes into it. So it is thereafter that the states will advise us on what they want. So nobody has imposed direct primaries on anybody. Nobody has imposed indirect primaries on anybody. As it were, some states we've read on the television, or we've heard in the news, that some states have adopted indirect. We've also read that some have met. Kano, for instance, says it wants direct. I think Lagos also says it's one direct. And there are chapters like that are also saying they want direct. So when we collect all of it, we then go back to our Constitution, which now prescribes how each of these options, either option, would be conducted. And then we go from there.
We are still dilly-dallying on this.
The
publicity secretary addressed a press conference.
Really?
That Yekini, yes, a day after your neck.
Did address a press? I think we need to be careful.
The publicity secretary
addressed a press conference?
There was a press release to
purportedly
from the publicity secretary that says the decision taken in that neck meeting was direct from my
I'm also aware that there is also a follow-up that clarified what was meant. So don't take the first statement in isolation of the second. When the first came, and there seemed to be a misconception, a misunderstanding of what the statement was, he now issued another one that clarified what decision was taken. And I think if there has been clarification, it should overtake. You can't keep going back to what has been clarified.
Some of the state chapters talked about their register not being updated, that the last time they don't have an updated register. Some even claim security, which is a big indictment on your government, that they cannot, with the state of security in their region, like in the Northeast, that they can't adopt these direct primary things.
Which chapter has said that? I'm not aware that any chapter...
The Northeast, most of
the
states.
No, don't say, Ayo, you see, mock grace. Don't forget.
Borno State said
Borno State said that.
Yes, Adamawa State, Governor Jubrila Bindo led Adamawa State.
Yes.
Actually set security, citing security, and they cannot adopt direct primaries.
Maybe when that gets to us at the National Secretariat, we will, we cannot react based on speculations in the media. You have now positively said Governor Jubrila Bindo said so. I am not aware that he said so, and he has not communicated that to us as a party. And as a party, we will also not rely on media speculations.
We don't speculate.
I know. We show
videos. We are not prints.
You see,
we show videos. When they were taking the resolution and they were giving...
Yes, you see, I heard you very, very clearly when you said Governor Jubrila said so. I will not still react on speculations on what I have not seen. It's speculative because you have said you show videos. You initially said Yakini addressed a press conference, and I asked you 3 times. He said so. You now said no, it was a statement. So I'm also conscious of what I say. But I must say this. I think rather than you and many persons who unfortunately will tell us, oh, federalism and all, I think for the first time, we ought to commend the All Progressives Congress, that it is even moving towards what federalism should be in the true sense of it. In the US, where we copy from, every state has its own peculiar electoral system, albeit all aimed at achieving one goal. What have we done here? Our constitution prescribes direct or indirect. In the past, the parties go and say it is direct all the way, or they say it is indirect all the way. For the first time, we are telling our chapters to look at the options available and adopt the one that best suits you. If there were more, perhaps we would do. But we have only 2 options in the Electoral Act.
No, one of these options, Ogun State, like
No, sorry.
consensus.
It says, Ogun State says, the Constitution says direct, indirect, are consensus, right? At NEC, we took a position. However, if it says consensus, consensus also has a process. Once we are satisfied that they have followed the process for consensus, Ayo, who are we to say no as a national body?
Would they still have a formal primaries?
Ayo, the Constitution prescribes a process.
Okay.
If they follow the process, please,
Okay.
I chose my words. Who are we as NWC or NEC to say no once we have followed the process that the law prescribes? That the Electoral Act, because you must look at the Electoral Act in Section 87, and you must look at the Constitution, and you must read them conjunctively. So once the process is followed for direct or indirect, if you say you choose indirect, we then advise this is the process you must follow constitutionally. If you say direct, this is the process we must follow constitutionally. And if you say it's consensus, this is the process. So we follow the process to the letter. And that is what NWC and what APC is about. We are saying, let us do it differently. Let the states decide what is best for them. It reduces acrimony, makes the process less expensive, and it's convenient for you. Like you just said now, you said a state says it may have security challenges. Yes, if it says so, so be it. Unfortunately, I won't pretend not to have heard that you say it's an indictment of the government.
Yeah.
You just said so.
Yes, I said
Yes.
so. Yes,
Whether we say it's an indictment, whether we like it or not, the truth is we have security flashes in some states. We can't live in denial that in some states of the Northeast and even in some areas of the North Central, there are challenges. So if they say these are the challenges they have, we will look at their challenges. We cannot shut our eyes to it. Am I going to deny the fact that there are still pockets of terrorists cowardly attacking soft targets? I won't come here and deny that. When it happens, the military tells us there was a suicide attack here. The military tells us. So there's nothing hidden. So if the state says, oh, these are my challenges, we look at their peculiarity and we grant their wishes.
What informed choosing direct primaries for presidential election? On the presidential primary?
For presidential primaries?
Yes.
Because we collectively agreed that that is best for the presidential primaries.
This will be the first of its kind.
Yes. Look, you see, that is why we are saying we are trying to practice our democracy, our nomination process, our primaries process, as it is done where we've copied it from. In America, what do you have? You have the presidential convention. You have primaries that goes from state to state for the Republicans and for the Democrats. And since our Constitution and the allows it, why don't you, for a change, give it a go? Why must we do the things, what we've always done, the same way and expect different results? Let the presidential candidates test their power, test their popularity. What we are saying here is let us attempt to give the party back to the members. Let's give it to the people. Let the people say, look, I had a say, not just in the election of an APC president, I had a say in the nomination process.
Having a say, talking about having a say in the nomination process, yes, and your presidential intent of interest form is 45 million naira.
Yes.
And how will a common man on the streets, how will somebody that legitimately has the leadership quality but
don't go too far. You see, we again dramatize non-issues.
It's not a non-issue.
Sorry.
Nigeria see 45 million naira as a very expensive amount.
Sorry,
not accessible.
Sorry, sir. Our nomination is not on the streets. It's for our party members.
Okay.
I want us to get that clear.
Okay.
It is for our party members.
So all your party members can afford 45 million?
Let me finish, Ayo. If you say you want to be a presidential candidate in a party, and again, I will take you back to where we are copying it from. I'm not too sure you've ever bothered to find out the cost of seeking a Democratic Party ticket or a Republican Party ticket. I'm not too sure. In 2014, we attempted the style of having people donating towards the party's cause. Any presidential candidate that says, oh, I have 2 billion to prosecute an election alone, there's something is wrong. When you have a popular mandate, a popular candidate, a candidate that inspires confidence in people, even if you make it 100 million, with 1,000 naira in 100,000 people, or less.
Not forgetting that you are trying to correct the People's Democratic Party, that you said in 16 years that they've not done things right.
Yes.
Now we expect that the APC will not sell their nomination from 44
You expect. You
Nigerians have been talking.
No, you
can't feign ignorance that you don't have this before.
Our party
that 45 million naira.
No. Our party members complaining. I'm not talking about APC nomination. Is not on the streets. It is for party members who are serious about prosecuting a campaign. If we make it 10,000, make it 5,000, if we make it free, only serious persons will come forward. Now, we've seen candidates who say, oh, I want to be president. They want to start just from the presidency. They've not even talked about building structures at the polling unit level, talk less of the ward level. Their first foray into politics is presidency, pick up a party, and then say, oh, I'm campaigning for presidency. You understand? What we are saying here, the party took a decision. And when I use this word, I use it carefully. The party took a decision that, look, in our opinion, this is the stock of our party. It's about stock.
How many people have you gotten so far? As in, to pick the presidential nomination?
Presidential nomination?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know until it closes on Monday. I'm not even sure if anybody has picked it.
Apart from Mr. President.
Has he picked it?
As in, people picking on his behalf?
So that tells you something. That even if you make it whatever amount, if people put... I even saw some people who in ignorance have been setting some social media message that, he says the electoral says no individual should donate more than 1 million to any campaign or an entity and what have you. You right? I've seen that. I know the president has run foul. Some people are said to have picked a form for him. Those writing have not even said how many people put the funds together to know if one person is donating even 10,000 or 5,000 or what amount everybody. They have not seen whether the president has accepted the offer.
Muftar is calling us from Kano. Thank you, Muftar. Thank you for joining us, Muftar.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Ayo.
Yes, go ahead with your contribution.
My name is Mukhtar, not Mukhtar. Mukhtar.
Okay, Mukhtar.
Mukhtar from Kano.
All right, go ahead with your contribution.
Yes. I have 3 observations to make.
All right.
One is that the legal advisor said they don't need more people to participate, to compete. They don't want everybody to come and say, I'm looking for the presidency. That is not democracy.
I didn't say that, please. Mukhtar, don't misquote me. We are on national television. Don't misquote
let
me.
him talk. We react to
Can
it.
I have a sheet of paper so I can take down his
Make it
notes?
open for people to come. You should make it open for people to come and try their luck. And it is from there that you can be able to select the best candidate. When there is only one candidate, you are not sure that you not give others chance to compete. It is only through competition that you can be able to select the best. One. Number two is that you are proposing not too young to run. How can an individual, a graduate, come and get 45 million to pay? I think this is encouraging corruption. Nobody could pay that much. 45 million is not more money, to be honest. Now, the third issue is that you say it's only at the presidency that you propose direct primaries. Now, if a state like Kano can adopt indirect primaries, for example, now you should allow even the presidency to contest under that particular proposal made by the state individually. If Kaduna State said indirect, when you come to Kaduna, it should be indirect. If Kano said direct, when you come to the presidency, it should be direct.
Okay, I think I get your point. Mukhtar, thank you. I will allow Barrister Ogala to attend to...
Mukhtar, I think with all respect to you, you should have listened to me and not quoted me out of context. I said that our nominations are open to our party members and not for everybody on the streets, because you must be a party man to seek our nomination. Please, I think I need to first correct that when I said it's not open to all. Of course, it cannot be open to all. It can only, I'm a lawyer, for instance. You, I don't know what is your profession, but if you're an architect, for instance, I, as a lawyer, cannot say, I want to come and be president of the Nigerian Institute of Architects. I would rather go and contest in the Nigerian Bar Association, where I'm a member. So what we are saying here is our nomination is for our members, and we took a collective position as a National Executive Committee of the party, which is represented by all state chairmen, all working committee members, all state governors, and many others. And we took a collective decision. So I want that corrected. I have also gone further, that we have attempted to go as democratic as it can be. And that is why we have given states the option to choose what they want. We have not imposed anything on anybody. Kanu, where you say you called from, as if what I read from the media is correct, has chosen direct primaries. And that is the choice of Kanu, which if he gets to us at National Secretariat, we will respect. Some have chosen indirect primaries, which if it gets to us, we will respect. And then we follow the constitutional provisions as to how they are to be conducted. So I don't want you to, it's either you are not listening to me, or you already had a mindset about the questions you want to ask and did not listen to what I said. So please do not quote me out of context. And I repeat, our nomination is only open to our party members. You cannot be in Kingsway and want to collect salary in Leventis. And you cannot be in PDP and want to collect APC nominations or seek APC nomination. You must be our registered member to seek our nomination, including the presidency at all levels. And the presidency is open to all. You talked about the young people's law. I mean, they're not too young to run. Not too young to run, it's about age. Age of contest has been brought down 5 years from 30 to 25. And whoever is interested, it is still open to everybody as long as you meet the minimum constitutional requirements. We have no control over that, and we are not discouraging anybody. In fact, even for women, there is also a generous discount. You know, people have said with Beijing Declaration, what Beijing Declaration says is encourage women. Encourage. And if we say for the physically challenged and the women, okay, let's give a 50% across board, the generous discount for them. I think that's some form of encouragement. So I don't want us to misconceive.
Okay.
And let me also say here
before you land,
that politics are
land,
seeking... Okay.
Oluwole is calling us from Lagos. Thank you, Wale.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good afternoon.
Please, I want to help me tell our dear leader Ogala that.
No,
although
don't.
I knew that,
I'm listening to you myself.
If they go for direct primary now, it's a social mission for the party.
Okay.
Because the election is very close. But they should install in their constitution to make it direct when this election is over.
So we should amend our constitution.
They should make direct after this election.
Okay.
After this election in the future.
Okay.
They should go direct. Then the second one is that most of it will tell the campaign. When they are campaigning, most of these they are campaign leaders. They are campaign on the podium. They should go inside the street and tell the people so that their party can get more courage.
Thank you very much. I mean, I appreciate your advice that we should do more of person-to-person, house-to-house, face-to-face campaigns rather than campaign from a distance. Your points are well noted, and we will take them into consideration. And I hope, and I mean, that confirms to you, to me, that you are a man who has the interests of the All Progressive Congress at heart, and we shall take your views into consideration. Thank you very much for your support.
The Senate President, Senate President actually was quoted yesterday in, I think, in the East, particularly in Owerri, saying that this administration has actually divided Nigerians. That his aim and objective, if voted as the president of Nigeria, is to unite Nigerians. And is of the view that since 2015, never had we had it so bad in terms of the way this administration has divided Nigerians.
Yes. Well, it's a good thing that a man that was part of the administration until a month ago is saying that. And I would, with due respect to the Senate President, I would wonder when this suddenly dawned on him. Is it when he now left the party to go and seek a presidential nomination elsewhere? Or he knew that in 2016, 2015? And the Senate President also forgets. And that is the error a lot of us make when they say this government. They forget that the government has 3 arms, which includes the legislature. The question to ask the Senate President is, as Senate President, if indeed he's saying this administration, and in his political jibes and trying to throw jibes, he has suddenly forgotten, suffering from amnesia, that is also part of the administration, despite being in PDP. And is part of the National Council of States, where they have regular meetings. But coming to dividing the nation, the question is, he should tell us in specific how this has been done. Where were we coming from in 2015? Before now, we ran elections in this country. You know, we ran 2003, 2000. Of course, 2015, 2007, 11. But suddenly, when it dawned on some, that one party that has monopolized power was suddenly being seriously threatened. What would we have? I hate to talk about the past, but since the Senate President, who was both part of the past and up till recently part of the present, has said what he said, which of the presidential candidates, which party started elections on ethnicity? Which party started elections on religious grounds? Which party started mobilizing churches, labeling another party as a Boko Haram, as Muslim party, as what have you? Which party came to a state like Lagos and was busy in areas where there are high concentration of people of certain ethnic stock and telling them that this one is your son, you must reject the other one? Which party was the presidential candidate moving from church to church? Which party mobilized pastors, general overseers to start? Which party had its candidates kneeling down from church to church, from convention to convention, from Holy Ghost to Holy Ghost, to be anointed? Which party went to Jerusalem to go and face wars with a team to just and put all that on the media? I do not want to join issues with the Senate President, but it's unfortunate that he has suddenly, in his desperation, is now suffering amnesia, and he has forgotten too soon that he is suddenly, in one breath, Bukola. Now that he wants to use a certain slot of a certain region, has become an Abubakar. and then we say who is dividing who. I think for the Senate president to have said that is quite unfortunate. It is disappointing. It shows a man who, on the expedient, for political expediency, forgot that he occupies a high stake in this country.
Let me take a caller. Let me take a caller.
No, before that caller.
No, you come back. I'm in charge here, Babatunde. I'm in charge.
I want to say this.
Hello,
Let
caller.
us play politics in Nigeria.
Let me take this caller.
And not play politics with Nigeria.
Thank you, John, for calling us.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, my question to your guest is on the area of the nomination form.
Okay. Go ahead.
I want to find out that the party that came on board on the tripod of fighting for the common masses is raising nomination form for 45 million. And I want to find out the same people that bought the fund for the president, who is going to fund his campaign that will run to billions of naira? Since the president said he does not have the 45 million naira to pick up the nomination form. Thank you.
All right, John.
Did I hear that again? What is the question again? If I didn't,
He's raising the issue about this same nomination form.
I've said it over and over again. The speculation in the media that some people have bought forms for the president. I will say it's speculation, because I have not, other than a group of people say, oh, we are going to buy forms, we bought forms. But I ask again, what is wrong if people believe in you? Like I said, anybody that says he wants to fund this campaign alone into the kind of figures we hear costs. I've run through elections in this country too, and I know how I raised funds to fund my campaign because people had faith. If you recall in 2014...
I didn't mention it earlier that Mr. Ogala who was a former member of the Lagos House of Assembly.
I want to take us back a little. In 2014, the APC, in raising funds, handed over its nomination to the generality of the people. The source of fund of the campaign, we set up a platform, an electronic platform for people to donate. If you look at Obama America, you look at the Republicans, you look at Trump, McCain, none of them has that kind of stupendous wealth to fund campaign, but they raised platforms for people to donate. We did that in 2014. Maybe we'll forget too soon. The federal government, the then government, immediately ordered NCC, National Communications Commission, to shut down our fundraising platform. I'll tell you, 1 naira by 100 million Nigerians is 100 million naira. 10 naira is 1 billion. 1,000 gives us 10 billion. These little trickles is what we ask for. Now, they shut that down. The All Progressive Congress took the federal government to court and National Communications Commission. We got judgment against the federal government. Judgment for the sum of 500 million against the then PDP government. The then PDP government. So it's not about now. So if we are now saying the cost of our campaign is X amount, the electoral law has said nobody should give more than 1 million. No person can give you more than 1 million. My dear, if you have 100 people giving you 1 million, that is 100 million. Have another, like 100 naira into 1 million people. Put it together. Okay. Put it together. And that is the way what we should look. We are all just saying, let us do things differently. Let us take this thing away from the old way of doing it. Let us hand over the nomination process, the electioneering process, the election funding back to the people. Our registration now is online. It's on the platform. Go in there. People say you've raised the issue of credible register of members. Ayo, I want you, and indeed anybody, to take this to the bank. APC registration, APC membership is as up to date as 12 midnight when I went to bed. It is up to date. When we get down to our primaries, the registers are there with facial recognitions. And you cannot even do double registration.
Okay.
If you attempt to do double registration, anyway, let me not say. People think we don't have a register of people. I hear people say, where are you going to get? We have our very, very credible. Let me say, we have paper slips, which we've been using all along. What people don't realize, that it all has a number. and your number is exclusive to you, just like the registered voters card. And members will get their permanent membership cards. And they will, even now, we are moving to, you pay your subscription.
Okay, I've been talking with the National Legal Advisor of the All Progressive Congress. I think this breather, when we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Standpoint on television, Continental. We'll be right back after this time out. Been with the National Legal Advisor of the All Progressive Congress. When we went on break, we are even having an interesting conversation here. His name is Mr. Babatunde Ogala. He used to be a member of the Lagos House of Assembly. I think he represented Ikeja constituency.
21, yes.
Yes, Ikeja constituency.
I was chairman of the Committee on Judiciary and Legal Matters.
Yes. I want, as a lawyer, your national chairman was quoted severally as saying that the Senate president, decamping from the All Progressive Congress to the People's Democratic Party, has left with, your crown. That crown must be brought back to the APC. And he has severally called for the resignation of the Senate president.
Yes.
And a lot of Nigerians are looking at that is because he has left APC, why must he resign as a president of the Senate?
Yes.
You want to enlighten us?
Why should he resign? Enlighten you on what? On what the chairman said?
That he must
No, what the
remove him.
chairman said is the chairman who spoke that he will be in a position to enlighten you on what he meant by the things he said, not me.
I want your perspective now.
On what? On whether he should resign or not.
You've been calling for either his resignation or removal.
Well, by the rules of the Senate, their own rules. Some have argued that the rules cannot be superior to their constitution, to the Constitution of the Federal Republic, which the Constitution says the senators shall elect one from among themselves as his leader, president, deputy, and then I think those are the two major ones. And also has stated the process for their removal, which again has been subject to several interpretations. What constitutes the Senate? Is it the full Senate with all the 109 members, or the Senate?
Those ones sit
Because one in one bread, the school of thought has said, look, for the removal of president, it has said the Senate were all members, while for the others, it just said the Senate or the House, and not all members. So why is it in one breath saying all members for one, and in another breath for another, it just says the House or the Senate? And the school of thought has also gone further to say, what constitutes the Senate in session? Is it when he meets his quorum? Is it in session? So if he says the Senate in session and there is a quorum, can that Senate as constituted be said to constitute a body that could remove the president as against of the leader of the Senate, as against that other one that says all, Again, neither here nor there, I've said two schools of thought. I've said this or this. Well, that is, again, constitutional issues that are arising. We are not unconscious, of course, of the judgment, but I can't remember the case exactly, where I think it was an issue of amended section of this constitution, where the Supreme Court ruled that what the law says is all, and it must be two-thirds of all,
which is
for the amendment of a legislation. And the Supreme Court interpreted that section as written. Please note, I keep using the word all as against one that says the Senate or the House. But like I said, neither here nor there, let's say I take this position. I will keep my opinion of it, but there are two schools of thought which we believe at some point the judiciary would interpret, maybe perhaps after some, steps may have been taken. Then coming to calling for the resignation. The rules of the Senate also says that the president of the Senate, Speaker of the House, shall be from within the party with the majority.
Really?
That's their rules. That's what some have argued, that their rules say so. Some of them in the Senate have said so. Just by the same token, that even though the law says the Constitution says they shall elect one of them as their leader, the Senate President or Speaker of the House. The rules also now goes further to say the person shall be a ranking member, i.e. one that has been there for more than. So if you respect that rule about only a ranking member can be your leader. And the same rule says only one from the party majority shall lead. Do you then take them together? That the rule that says only a ranking member shall be a Senate President or Deputy Senate President, even though the Constitution does not recognize ranking. But for purpose of your rules, you recognize it. So if the same rule now says only only one from the majority party shall lead the legislature. So do you then cherry pick and say, oh, I'm ranking? So I'm just not taking positions, I'm looking at the law. So if by the next session, a first-time senator can be a Senate President. So we can say, since the Constitution does not say that it has to be a ranking member, then you have no right to stop a first-timer. So you cannot read your Constitution disjunctively from your rules and will suddenly say your rule is unconstitutional. So if it's unconstitutional, I'm just saying these are the dangers inherent. But then the moral question, should he not actually leave the office? I know people will take me to Tambuwa that he left PDP to join APC as Speaker and did not leave the seat. And why did you not call it for his removal at that time? And my simple answer to that is, if people sleep on their rights, don't blame the beneficiary. Or if it was wrong in the past, that does not make it right today. If one person did not know what to do, a policeman slaps you on the streets, or you are unlawfully detained, and you walk away, and I'm unlawfully detained, and I choose to go to court to enforce my rights. And you now say, why you do go to court? What's your own? Shebi Ayo suffered the same fate and did nothing. It still doesn't make it right. So I'm just looking at, because I know the immediate answer, people will tell you, but Tambuwa defected to your party and he didn't resign. If you did not do what you ought to do, hey, for crying out loud, Ayo, if you have this dress, and I love it so much, and I see it on the line, and I take it and I put it on, and you make no protest, like Yorubas will say, Momujeni. But that's my dress now. Okay, I'm going to yani. But if you don't talk, go determine here now. I didn't steal it. I took it. So if you sleep on your rights, don't say the other person must also, as a necessity, and as a matter of fact, also sleep on his own. So I support the call for him to drop the seat, both on moral grounds, on legal grounds, and what have you. And that's why I've stated the position as being argued.
And he has said again, it's only his colleagues, which is 73 of them.
Then I ask the political question. A man that is so popular, that his colleagues, according to him, support, that thought his party, his new party, had won the majority when they decamped. And by the time they did hair count, it's already dawned on him that the majority that I thought I don't have, that people whose names he read on the floor suddenly came out and said, no, I was not part of that decision and I'm not decamping. The likes of Shehu Sani, Larry Tejo, Soja Akombi. I said, no, I was not part of it. The fact that I gave my signatures can even be picked up from the attendance register at any meeting and attached to anything. Then the question is, then they said 13 have decamped, out of which 3 have denounced, I'll be 14, 3 have denounced. Let them reconvene the Senate and let us say how many. If you are that popular, if you have the support of the majority, why then are you afraid of reconvening the Senate? To actually test your popularity, to actually know if you have the 13 or 14 that whose names you read on the floor.
When they adjourned, they actually said they are going to reconvene on the 25th of September.
Yes.
And it's not 25th of December.
But they attempted to reconvene. They called a date to reconvene. What then happened? He then suddenly said, but 25th of September is here. Let us go and do that show of strength and see how many he has with him among those he claimed they can, and how many are even still with him in his newfound party.
It seems to be a mistake on the part of the All Progressive Congress, as in, or especially a lot of people would blame Mr. President, that Mr. President did not, like other presidents, pay attention to the emergence or whoever emerges in the National Assembly, the leadership.
Yes.
By that time was quoted as saying that he can work with anybody.
You see,
and that seems to have backfired.
Unfortunately, the president in trying to be a Democrat, I mean, and that is what democracy ought to be. Don't interfere in other arms. He said he was willing to work with everybody, which we must, as a matter of course, in the first place, even commend. We know how many Senate presidents ran 1999 to 2003. We know how many Senate presidents we had from 2003 to 2007. I mean, they were changing Senate presidents like changing boxer shorts. We heard of the ones that were at gunpoint after a meal of pounded yam. We heard of the ones that were blackmailed. We heard of the banana peel. Look, if we were to run this administration, if this presidency, the president who unfortunately people chose to call the names that do not belong to him. Oh, he's a dictator, he's tyrannical. Could it be said to be tyrannical compared to the president, who today is the one advising people, the letter-writing president, who is today advising people on who is a tyranny, who is tyrannical, who does not know how to manage a country, who at every turn interfered and was insisting on changing the leadership of the National Assembly. This president has not done that. If he was to do it, it's not the resources that are lacking. It's not the power of coercion that the other man, the then president, used that is lacking. But this president refused to use his office, to misuse his office, to abuse his office, to interfere in another arm of government, which, unfortunately, people now misinterpret. A president who wrote a letter to say, oh, the country is on, that was the same president under whom OD community, a full-blown military attack was launched on a Nigerian community and practically almost exterminated. Under whom Zaki Biam was also leveled. Under whom Bakassi Peninsula was
A lot of people will also
and taken away
refer
from
to the undoing of this administration. Zaki is still in prison. We still have the National Security Advisor, the former National Security Advisor, after several courts cases.
I've heard that argument.
And we still have journalists being hounded around
I've heard that.
under this administration.
No, you will tell me which journalist has been hounded. Don't tell me Abiri, because Abiri is the only one everybody talks about.
Yes, that
3
particular
years.
case study.
Abiri was said to have been detained for 2 years.
Yes.
And for those who have talked about Abiri, journalists are very, very well-informed people. Journalists have a lot of good friends as lawyers. NUJ has some of the best, he has access to. Why did Abiri not approach the courts for the enforcement of his fundamental rights till he was released? Just a question. Why did he not? The Supreme Court in Asari Dokubo's case has even said, it's the Supreme Court. Asari Dokubo, I think I have that judgment. If you permit me, I will just try to pull it out of my system and then we can talk to it. Has even said, where national security, let me see, where national security is threatened, or there's real likelihood of it being threatened, human rights or individual rights of those responsible take second place. That is Justice Muhammad, former Chief Justice of Nigeria. Human rights or individual rights must be suspended.
That case.
Until national security, it's not saying Asari Dokubo's right. Please, don't tell me in that case. Every Supreme Court judgment is law. It is the law. It says human rights or individual rights, not Ayo's rights or Gala's rights. Human rights or individual rights must be suspended until national security can be protected or taken care of. This is not anything new. the corporate existence of Nigeria as a united, harmonious, individual, and insoluble sovereign nation is certainly greater than any citizen's rights or liberty. Once the security of the nation is in jeopardy and it survives in peace rather than in peace, the individual right or liberty may not even exist. So don't tell me in that case. That is an argument that I find fraudulent.
That's why Zaki is still in prison.
It has said human rights or individual rights. So if El Zaki, Dasuki have been said that their rights have to be subjugated, the high courts...
Even after courts...
No, sorry, sir. Sorry, sir.
Giving bail?
Sorry, sir. I said on the authority of this judgment. And if there is a disobedience of an order of courts, there's also a process in law that we call consequence of disobedience of court orders. And these are people who have some of the best lawyers. I think Dasuki has no fewer than 3-4 cases. And I know, yes, I think there are about 4. I know he's been granted bail in some, and I know he was refused bail in some others. And I know he's continuously brought to court from detention. I mean, if you say you are disobeying an order of a court, and the court has said, give this man bail and this, the court, bring it to the attention of that court, which can say, until you obey my orders, you have no right of audience in this court.
Finally, as we're running up, do you see...
I'm not about media. We're about talking law, because you delved into law. Dasuki he was before Justice Ademola. I was incidentally involved in that matter at some point. He was before Justice Afri. I think there were 4 cases. Even if he was granted bail in one, in all 3, and one denied him bail, you must also obey the order of that court that denied him bail. So let us not report a matter or report the keeping of somebody in detention without looking at the totality of the cases that is standing trial.
Finally,
as if it's only one matter.
A lot of people believe that the popularity of Mr. President, and especially the popularity of the All Progressive Congress, has gone lower than it was in 2015, that it might have a very tough time in winning the 2019 election, and you have a formidable opposition in the People's Democratic Party.
Formidable opposition in which party?
The PDP.
In which party? Let's take it in Lagos. Does PDP exist in Lagos? Even the party chairman of PDP, Moshood Salvador, is in APC. I think I was joking with a friend just this morning, who is a PDP chieftain. I was with quite a few of them. I said, what are you still doing in PDP? So where exactly is this popularity come? This is a game of numbers. The popularity is not, yes, we know the expectations were high. We know.
And it has dropped. Its popularity has dropped.
I said expectations were high. People expected so much. Perhaps APC itself was not conscious of the humongous problem that the former administration had created, of how much the economy has been debased and
it's not enough to talk to Baba.
So, but I think I want you to take this to the bank. We wait for PDP to bring his candidates up. And then look at the recent elections. We had senatorial election in Bauchi, APC won. In Katsina, APC won. House of Rep in Kogi, APC won. We had a gubernatorial election, APC won. We have had in Edo, APC won. Even in River State, we have all the 3 senators now. So where is this popularity winning when it keeps winning elections? All the elections between 2015 and now, APC has not lost a single one.
Mr. Tunde Ogala is the National Legal Advisor of the All Progressive Congress. I want to thank you for being part of Standpoint today.
Thank you.
Sure before the election,
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to come and talk about APC and to tell the general public,
we have to leave it there.
Continue to support the All Progressive Congress and President Buhari.
And that's our package on Standpoint today. Join us next week for another interesting episode of the program. I'd like to use this opportunity to wish the regular anchor of this program, that's Veronica Danikoyi, a very, very lovely birthday, and wishing her many more prosperous years ahead.
The opportunity and take advantage to wish my friend, my brother, in whom I'm very, very well pleased, Tumba Lai Oriowo, who strikes diamond today, a very, very happy birthday.
I'll see you
Lai, we love you. Elder man Lai Oriowo, enjoy your day.
I'm Ayodele Ozubaku. Watch the repeat broadcast tomorrow at 7 a.m. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you for joining us.